Hello and welcome to my channel, What is History, where we discuss places and events from antiquity that helped shape today's world as we know it. In today's episode, we're going back one more time to one of the most dazzling civilizations on Earth, ancient Egypt. And today's subject is one of history's top controversial subjects, the assassination of the King Ramses III of the 20th dynasty. Grab your favorite beverage and enjoy the episode. In the depths of an ancient palace, beneath the veneer of power and divinity, a treacherous plot was unfolding. On this fateful night, the mighty Ramses III, a pharaoh who ruled with an iron fist, would face an enemy more dangerous than any he had encountered on battlefield: betrayal from within his own walls. The succession-driven plot sounds like a real-life Game of Thrones, but the mystery of how archaeologists unraveled it 3 millennia later would be at home on any detective show. Ramses III, the second pharaoh of Egypt's 20th dynasty, is often remembered as the last great ruler of the New Kingdom. His reign was marked by military victories and monumental building projects, but it was also a time of immense turmoil and internal strife. As his enemies grew bolder, so too did the dangers lurking in the shadows of his court. The circumstances of his death have long been shrouded in mystery. Was it an assassination orchestrated by those closest to him, or was it something more sinister? We're going to find out. But before we do that, let's set the stage first. Ramses III ascended the throne during a turbulent period in Egypt's history. As the second ruler of the 20th dynasty, he inherited a kingdom that was still mighty, but increasingly under pressure from both internal and external forces. Determined to restore Egypt's former glory, Ramses III quickly established himself as a formidable warrior pharaoh, much like his namesake, Ramses the Great. His reign was characterized by a series of military campaigns aimed at defending Egypt's borders and maintaining its supremacy in the ancient world. One of Ramses III's most significant achievements was his successful defense against the Sea Peoples, a mysterious confederation of maritime invaders who threatened to destabilize the entire eastern Mediterranean. In a decisive battle, Ramses III crushed these invaders, securing Egypt's borders and ensuring the continued flow of resources into the kingdom. His victories over the Libyans and Nubians further solidified his reputation as a warrior king, a protector of the land of the Nile. But Ramses III was more than just a military leader. He was a shrewd politician and an ambitious builder, commissioning grand temples and monuments to honor the gods and to immortalize his reign. His efforts to maintain Egypt's religious and cultural traditions, as well as his patronage of the arts, reflected his desire to reinforce the stability and prosperity of his kingdom. Yet beneath the surface of this grandeur, cracks were beginning to show. Despite Ramses III's efforts, Egypt was entering the twilight of its new kingdom. The economic and social challenges that had begun in the late 19th dynasty continued to plague the nation. The cost of constant warfare, coupled with pressures of maintaining the vast empire, strained the kingdom's resources. Grain shortages led to widespread hunger, while the demands of the military and growing power of the priesthood eroded the pharaoh's control over his own government. Externally, the threat of invasion was never far from the horizon, as rival powers sought to capitalize on Egypt's weakening hold over its territories. Internally, corruption and intrigue festered within the court. The once unassailable authority of the pharaoh was being challenged, not just by external enemies, but by those who served him. It was a time of great uncertainty and a growing discontent, a fertile ground for betrayal and conspiracy. In the heart of Ramses III's palace, beyond the public eye, lay the harem, a place of both luxury and isolation. It was within these walls that one of the most notorious plots in Egyptian history began to take shape. Like other pharaohs, Ramses III had a principal wife named Tiye and a number of secondary wives who lived together in the royal harem along with their children and servants. The harem was a luxurious symbol of the pharaoh's power and influence, and a hotbed for political activity. Much of it centered on matters of dynasty and succession. Ramses III's wives bore plenty of heirs, giving birth to an estimated 100 children, but designating a successor proved challenging because 12 of the sons in line for the throne died during the pharaoh's lifetime. In 1164 BC, another crown prince died, leaving a younger son of Queen Queen Tiye in the line for the throne. At the center of the harem was Queen Tiye, a secondary wife of Ramses III, and her son Pentawere. Unlike the pharaoh's designated heir, Pentawere was not first in line for the throne, but his mother's ambition would not be easily thwarted. Together, they devised a plan that would plunge the kingdom into chaos. Queen Tiye's motivations were driven by more than just her desire for power. She sought to secure her son's future in a kingdom where succession was often a matter of life and death. Pentawere, though young and less experienced, was swept into his mother's plans, torn between his loyalty to his father and aspirations to rule. The tension within the royal court was palpable as factions formed and loyalties were tested. What began as a whisper soon grew into a dangerous conspiracy, one that would challenge the very foundation of Ramses III's reign. The plot to assassinate Ramses III is recorded in remarkable detail in the Judicial Papyrus of Turin, a document that has preserved the secrets of this deadly conspiracy for millennia. According to this ancient text, the conspiracy involved not only Queen Tiye and Pentawere, but also a network of palace officials, guards, and even priests. Their goal was simple yet audacious: to eliminate Ramses III and place Pentawere on the throne. It was believed that the conspirators chose a festival as the perfect moment to strike, believing that the pharaoh would be most vulnerable amidst the celebrations. The plan involved a combination of methods: poison to weaken him, and a direct attack to ensure his death. Though the document named all of the males accused of participating in the plot, it only named one woman, Queen Tiye. It also remained silent on whether the conspirators managed to kill Ramses III, and it distorted the names of the accused, omissions that led modern researchers to refer to it as, quote, an exercise in reticence, end quote. Researchers knew the coup hadn't changed the line of succession. The son of Ramses III's main wife, Queen Tiye, has succeeded him, so they assumed the plot had been a failed attempt by a minor wife to shift the balance of power toward her son. Yet questions remained about the coup's true outcome and how Queen Tiye had managed to convince so many royal workers to engage in such a dangerous bid for power. And if it hadn't killed him, historians wondered whether the coup had helped destabilize Ramses III's reign, leaving us with a mystery that endures to this day. In 1886, decades after the papyrus was discovered and translated, treasure hunters uncovered extraordinary physical evidence in the case: Ramses III's tomb. Yet in a move that would frustrate future archaeologists, the excavators failed to accurately document the pharaoh's placement within the tomb, which contained a variety of other mummies. That did away with crucial evidence that could have hinted at the way in which Ramses III met his death. Nor did the mummy identified as Ramses III provide answers. Surrounded by impatient spectators, the antiquarians immediately unwrapped Ramses III, only to find that the body showed no signs of injury. Even more confusing was another mummy buried alongside the pharaoh, a smaller mummy with a contorted, seemingly screaming face. Unlike the other mummies in the tomb who were buried in ceremonial garments and carefully embalmed, the small mummy had been wrapped in a simple sheep skin and seemingly placed haphazardly within the tomb without an inscription pointing to its identity. Assuming the mysterious screaming mummy could never be identified, historians thought they cracked the case. Ramses III, it seemed, hadn't been killed by the conspirators, and the conspiracy was written off as a miner's wife attempt to exert power within the royal harem. Advances in archaeological technology didn't shed any more light. When researchers used an X-ray machine to image the pharaoh in the 1960s, it showed no sign of assassination. But archaeologist Susan Redford was intrigued by the story, and in 2002 revealed a new take on the conspiracy thanks to a reinvestigation of the artwork in Ramses III's tomb. Redford realized that multiple reliefs on the tomb's walls showed Ramses III's heirs, but one relief showed a different constellation of princes. A move that Redford interpreted as pointing to the prestige of Pentawere and the royal status of his mother, Queen Tiye. If Tiye had been a queen and not a secondary wife, her son would have had a more credible claim to the throne, status that would explain the long-standing mystery of how a minor figure had gathered such a prominent group of co-conspirators. In recent years, advancements in forensic technology have allowed scientists to re-examine the mummy of Ramses III, shedding new light on the circumstances of his death. In 2012, a team of researchers conducted CT scans on the pharaoh's remains, revealing a discovery that would finally bring clarity to the centuries-old mystery. The CT scans uncovered a deep, lethal cut across Ramses III's throat, extending from ear to ear. The wound was severe enough to sever major blood vessels and the trachea, which would have resulted in an almost immediate death. This finding provided the most direct evidence that the pharaoh was indeed assassinated, likely during a swift and brutal attack. The position and depth of the cut suggest it was inflicted by a sharp blade, confirming Ramses III fell victim to a violent assault rather than a more subtle method like poisoning. Further analysis of Ramses III's mummy revealed other critical details that support the assassination theory. There were signs of possible defense wounds on his body, indicating that he may have attempted to fight off his attackers before succumbing to the fatal injury. Additionally, the embalmers who prepared Ramses III for the afterlife went to great lengths to repair and conceal the damage to his throat, likely in an effort to preserve the dignity of the pharaoh in death and to ensure his successful journey into the afterlife. Additionally, Ramses III shared DNA with the seemingly screaming unidentified mummy, leading researchers to conclude it was the body of the conspiring prince Pentawere. These modern forensic findings have transformed our understanding of Ramses III's final moments, confirming that the pharaoh was the victim of a deadly conspiracy. The deep throat wound, coupled with the historical accounts of betrayal within his court, leaves little doubt that Ramses III's reign ended not by natural causes, but by the hands of those closest to him. The mystery, once buried beneath the layers of time and speculation, has finally been revealed through the lens of science. In the wake of Ramses III's assassination, the full force of Egyptian law was brought down upon the conspirators. The Judicial Papyrus of Turin, an invaluable ancient record, details the extensive trials that followed the pharaoh's death. Those who had plotted against the throne, including members of the royal harem, palace officials, and even priests, faced swift and severe justice. The trials were marked by confessions, some of which were likely obtained under intense pressure. The papyrus reveals that those found guilty of participating in the conspiracy were dealt with harshly. The punishments meted out were both punitive and symbolic, designed to reinforce the authority of the new pharaoh and to deter any future treachery. The penalties ranged from public executions for some, a spectacle meant to serve as a stark warning, to forced suicides for those of noble birth, such as members of the royal family or high-ranking officials. This option allowed them to die with a degree of dignity, even in disgrace. The bodies of the executed were often denied traditional burial rites, a severe punishment in a culture that placed immense importance on the afterlife. Among the conspirators, the fate of Pentawere, the son of Queen Tiye, remains one of the most enigmatic. As a key figure in the conspiracy and the intended beneficiary of the plot, Pentawere was sentenced to death. However, the circumstances of his demise are shrouded in mystery, leading to much speculation over the centuries. It is widely believed that Pentawere was given the choice to take his own life, likely through the ingestion of poison, a common practice for those of royal blood who were condemned to death. This would have spared him the humiliation of public execution, allowing him to maintain some semblance of royal dignity. Yet the exact details of his death are not fully recorded, leaving historians to wonder whether it was truly a voluntary act or a coerced one. The mystery surrounding his death adds a layer of tragedy to his already doomed legacy. And as we said before, there was a screaming mummy that was discovered alongside the body of Ramses III, and DNA analysis confirmed that this body is related to Ramses III, adding more speculation into the way that he actually died. The death of Pentawere, like the conspiracy itself, left a profound mark on Egyptian history. The harem conspiracy, with its tangled web of betrayal and ambition, not only claimed the life of a powerful pharaoh but also set the stage for the decline of the 20th dynasty. The harsh retribution that followed served as a grim reminder of the dangers of courtly intrigue and the fragility of power, casting a long shadow over the final years of the new kingdom. The assassination of Ramses III was not merely the death of a pharaoh, it was a pivotal moment that accelerated the decline of the Egyptian empire. As the last strong ruler of the new kingdom, Ramses III had managed to maintain Egypt's stability through military prowess and political skill. However, his sudden and violent death left a power vacuum that his successors struggled to fill. Ramses IV, who succeeded his father, inherited a kingdom in turmoil. The harem conspiracy and the resulting trials had sown deep mistrust within the royal court, weakening the central authority of the pharaoh. This instability allowed other powerful factions, particularly the priesthood of Amun, to grow in influence, further eroding the power of the monarchy. The economic difficulties that had plagued Egypt during Ramses III's reign continued, exacerbated by the internal strife and the increasing fragmentation of the empire. The effects of Ramses III's death were felt throughout the empire. The once centralized stage began to fracture as local governors and priests assumed greater control over the regions. The military, no longer as unified or as formidable, struggled to defend Egypt's borders, leading to the loss of territories and further weakening the kingdom. The decline of the new kingdom was not immediate, but it was inevitable, as the internal divisions and power struggles that followed Ramses III's death paved the way for the eventual collapse of Egypt's imperial power. The assassination of Ramses III has resonated throughout history, not only as a dramatic tale of palace intrigue, but as a symbol of the fragility of power in ancient Egypt during this specific period. The events surrounding his death have become a part of the mythos of Egyptian history, embodying the themes of betrayal, ambition, and the ultimate cost of political maneuvering. For historians and Egyptologists, the story of Ramses III's demise offers a poignant reminder of how internal divisions can undermine even the most powerful of empires. Over the centuries, the story of Ramses III's assassination has been studied, debated, and reinterpreted, contributing to our understanding of the complexities of ancient Egyptian society during that period. It served as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the volatile nature of power within the royal court. The legacy of Ramses III's death is one of both historical significance and enduring fascination, as it continues to captivate scholars and the public alike. We've explored the intricate web of conspiracy that led to the pharaoh's demise, the brutal consequences faced by those who dared to challenge the throne, and the lasting impact that this tragedy had on the Egyptian empire. Yet even with all that we've uncovered, the full truth of what happened on that fateful night may never be completely known, leaving us with a mystery that continues to captivate our imagination. What do you think really happened to Ramses III? Was the conspiracy more extensive than we know, or did the pharaoh's death unfold exactly as the ancient records suggest? We want to hear your thoughts, share your theories in the comments below, and let's continue the discussion. If you enjoyed unraveling this ancient mystery with us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And if there is another historical mystery that you'd like us to explore, let us know in the comments. Your suggestions help guide our journey into the past as we uncover the stories that shaped our world. Thank you for joining us in the exploration of the life and death of Ramses III. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep uncovering the echoes of history. Thank you.